This video is recapping the past four, which I hope you enjoyed. They featured my drawing-based meditation technique that I like to call Draw a Line, Change Your Life. And I refer to it as this because that's what it did for me in terms of being one of the handful of things that turned my life around from bad habits, not being on track, to acquiring good ones and a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mindset, as well as getting me moving toward my goals once again. So once again, this is the recap video, and it is in the spirit of the intentional direction of this channel. I don't really know if it is a niche that I am trying to establish, maybe indirectly, but the focus for the channel is essentially to experiment, to try different things, and to reflect upon and analyze them after these little series of videos are completed. And up to this point, I've only done, I believe, maybe this is the third one. I'm not too sure. I have to look back. I don't want to go on and on about the direction of this channel. You can actually see that in a previous video, which I can add in the description below. So again, recapping the past four videos. The first video in this series, the fourth video back, is kind of a recap of the technique itself, this drawing-based meditation technique. And I just kind of wanted to refresh that original video with this new one. Again, that's the video about 4 videos back. And I go through the concept, I go through the process, as well as some of the interesting details that arise when you do the technique. I felt that a version 2 or a 2.0 was warranted, simply because it's been about a year, a little over a year, and I've been doing it every single day for the most part. I have to say 5 to 6 days a week. I managed to sneak it in there, and I do it every single morning, usually around 5:30ish. I wake up at 5 to kind of get started and eventually move toward the meditation and doing some artwork also after that meditation session. So the other 3 videos, the past 3, basically featured me doing the technique itself in real time while speaking kind of freely about some of the benefits that it will have in your life, or it will create for you. The technique itself, once again, I argue that it strengthens your connection with your intuition, and this, as a result, leads to an enhanced creativity, better decision-making, and stronger in terms of confidence. And those are just 3 out of many others, many other positive aspects that emerge. So in terms of the process itself, it was really good, and it kind of created some other new things in terms of my social media activity. During the scripting of the first of the real-time walkthrough sessions, where I kind of speak while doing the technique, I realized that it's important for me to get back to sharing content. Namely, well, I used to do this, so kind of to return to this as part of my workflow, and decided to start an email newsletter, which I began to post on 2 different writing platforms. Then to take that newsletter, so now I have the newsletter on 3, or I'm pushing it out 3 different ways: email and the 2 writers platforms. And I mean, I could probably just say that those writer platforms are Medium and Substack. So those are three modes of communication, and then to take the newsletter itself and write a script that I can use for YouTube. And during this script writing process, anyway, before I go into that, this is then, again, sharing, sort of recycling, I guess you could say recycling, but using one piece of content, namely an article that I go relatively in depth in. I make sure that it is kind of at a publishable state upon putting it out. So it's sort of a finalized piece of writing for me. And that really helps me kind of absorb the content, right? Just in terms of editing it, reading it many times, correcting grammar, all of these things are important in the process. And then through that internalization, I'm able to take it, write an outline, and present it as a YouTube or as the script for my YouTube video. Now, presenting it as a script, that may seem like I'm using it verbatim, right? I'm just reading from a script, but that's actually not the case. And during this process, actually, this is the other thing that came about, which was really good for kind of my YouTube journey in general, which basically was how, for ever since I started YouTube, I wanted to get away from the detailed script or the detailed script outline. I wanted to get more and more streamlined in terms of the outline. And now I have, you can probably notice me looking down once in a while, but I have it just basically a series of bullet points and not even complete sentences. And actually, I would like to get it even more streamlined than what I'm using right now. And what I think this does is it really kind of takes away the safety net, and which this is a good thing. I think not having a safety net is very good because it's riskier, and through that riskier context, kind of less secure context, a lot more of my personality comes out, a lot more of my human qualities, wrestling with how to say certain things and being open about sort of this process of finding the right words, awkwardness, I've written down here. It pushes me to improvise, think on the spot, and most importantly, and connected to all this, is speaking intuitively, which is kind of like speaking from the heart. And I believe these are all aspects of our true voice, our true personality. So I was really fortunate to go through this process of making these past 4 videos and kind of finding that again, which is once again taking a finished script or an article, a piece of writing, and really breaking it down to condensed bullet points, and then just using those bullet points as sort of like signposts that kind of keep my talk in order or organized to a certain extent, but allows me to really kind of stretch out and improvise between the structural columns, if you want to call them that. Now, the getting back to the series, I've since the first video, it's been about 5 weeks, and overall there has been low engagement, relatively speaking. Some of the videos, actually 3 of the videos, have gotten more than average, higher than average for my channel. But in general, yes, relatively speaking, kind of low engagement. 35 at the most, 35 views, between 25 and 35 views. Now, I was contemplating extending the series, and I kind of liked the idea of doing that because it sort of felt good, to be able to do this to do the meditation technique, the drawing technique, and speak. And I'm sure I could do different versions. I could create new formats, kind of revolving around the technique itself. It was a difficult decision, and I'm still kind of on the fence. I may return to it later, but I've decided to move on again in the spirit of having this nicheless channel and experimenting with video series, experimenting with ideas, and reflecting upon them like I'm doing right now. I'm kind of interested. I have 3 or 4 ideas written down here on my post-it notes about what I could do next, and I'm leaning a little bit more toward. I mean, this is already kind of a personal development series, the Draw a Line, Change Your Life series, and kind of extending that. So maybe addressing or approaching personal development through other ideas and maybe just talking head videos for my next series. I'm not too sure, but I'm always interested in improving oneself, adopting healthy habits, and changing your life for the better. So why don't we just take the next idea and run with it? I look forward to the next series, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care.